Everyone, let's talk about this person, Sean Johns Combs, as we known him as P.diddy. Well, it's a dirty natal chart because the timing isn't accurate. And so, because of that, to me, I strictly do not want to read by Rashi sign. So it's always my focus is towards the house. So in my reading, when I see this kind of reading without any accurate times of birth, I see these signs as the house placement where it transit during that times. Now let's think about this. If you are reading this by the sign, it's all up to you. It can work either way, but I strictly follow based on accurate timing. Now, the minds of this PDD, there is quite interesting conjunction in his natal chart, especially when it comes to the moons and K2. Quite interestingly, why? Because the moon is with the enemy. It's in the fifth house, the house of creativity, the house of learning, the house of purva, the house of luck. So this person growing up can be quite perilous, let's say, because the moon isn't technically in a good conjunction with the planet. It's really giving hard enemy conjunctions, and not only because of K2 placement. Rahu directly looking at the position where is K2 is. So there is a 7 and 7 aspect back to where is the moon. So the mind of this person can feel really conflicted, even if he doesn't show the idea of why he feel this way. There is always a hidden thing that is tried to hide the imperfection. He doesn't want to show the world because Rahu in the 11th house itself creates these ideas of like, I am the perfect illusion. That's the image that he has to hold as a person with these placements of Rahu. Because in the end of the day, Rahu always create that illusion. And when Rahu is strongly placed in someone's chart, it can hide pretty good. And if you're looking at the positions of the Sun and Venus, by sign itself, these two planets, Sun, Venus, are both in debilitated condition. It's pretty hard placement. And if you're looking at Venus, Venus itself is with Jupiter. If you think that Jupiter is a planet that is all benefic, planet that doesn't really give, negative things in life, well, I hate to break it for you, but Jupiter can act and fully functional malefic. And when the planet like Jupiter conjunct with a planet that is ruling what? Material things, ruling this this world of beauty and that representing overindulgence of pleasure. That's what Venus is. Venus is the teacher, the guru of Asura. It's basically the teachers of what? Of the demon. Meanwhile, Jupiter is the guru of what? Of the devas. So the conjunctions of Jupiter and Venus create this volatile between trying to act dharmic, but there is an actions of what? The actions of tamasic. Anything that is not pure. At this conjunction, it's hard. By sign, let's say put this conjunction by sign in Virgo. Venus debilitated in Virgo, Jupiter doesn't even like Virgo. Virgo is a battle, an open battle. It's a surfing, but it's more about battle. Fighting, it's an open fight with the enemies. Jupiter doesn't like this kind of thing, it's not his field to fight. So it is quite hard to have this placement growing up. It really is. This person is struggling a lot. I never really watch his documentaries or whatever that is. I never really deep with this person, but I can just tell by this combination. And the thing about this, positions of the sun is also by sign itself debilitated. So two major planet that giving what? Giving your soul and also giving what? The emotions of pleasure. It is in the critical point because Venus itself is an emotional jala. It's a planet that is really emotional. And Venus have this conjunction of the sun. Sorry, Jupiter can have conflicted ideas of what is good and what is bad. Jupiter asking like, do your dharma, do the right things. But Venus is like, I don't want to do this. I want to experience something that is more towards material pleasures. I want to test it. That's what Venus is. When Venus debilitated, it craft that kind of like neediness of needing something. Needing what? Pleasures. Venus debilitated, always looking directly to where the exaltation is, which is Pisces. So, you get the point there. And what is exactly he dealing now? And he got jailed for, I don't know for how long, but you can already know why this person behaving this way. It's very conflicted. Conflicted what? Conflicted between Dharma, the actions of Dharma, and also the actions of being impure. The depositor itself, Virgo, with debilitated sun. If we're reading this through signs, the depositors of Virgo with the sun debilitated. Saturn itself looking at a debilitated sun. And also, my goodness, Saturn is debilitated. Holy, I never seen someone with a lot of debilitated planet in one chart. But then there is a Nija Banga though. There is Nija Banga here because Saturn casting that 7 to Sun, debilitated Sun, the Sun casting that the 7 aspect to Saturn. So there is indeed Nija Banga, but it's not easy. It's not easy at all. Yes, there is Nija Banga here. And if you're looking at the active Mahadasha, as for now, it is in Rahu. So he basically already running Sun Mahadasha. Moon Mahadasha is already done. Mars obviously already done. So there is indeed a raise in status. That Nija. Nija means what? Nija means debilitated. Banga means cancellation. Cancellations of what? Of the debilitations planet. And it gives rewards. So it does make sense that this person's growing up hard. And then later on, he earned something good. I mean, you look at his life. He is basically a millionaire. But this Rahu Mahadasha, it can be really difficult because why? Because if he not fully healed from the past trauma that traumatic events that have been happening with him, this can create this tendency to cope in a weird taboo ways. You can call it abuse of something. I don't want to mention it here because YouTube sometimes can strike my channel for saying this thing, but you get the point of this. This P.diddy is growing up quite difficult, and that is what making him him.